My name is Liliana Turo, and I will be discussing why we should raise the voting and drafting age and provide harsher restrictions on nicotine products. I am 17 years old, soon to be 18, and there are many things that I will be able to do once I turn 18, one of which is the option to vote in federal and state elections, and the most relevant being the presidential elections. In 1971, the country nationally reduced the voting age from 21 to 18. We as a country decided to lower the voting age because young men from the ages of 18 to 21 were being drafted into the Vietnam War. The slogan at the time was, "Old enough to fight, old enough to vote," reflecting the drafted individuals' feeling of injustice at not being old enough to vote for their country when they were old enough to be chosen to fight for their country. However, the reason the drafting age was lowered initially from 21 to 18 was because of the quality of men being drafted, in order to provide a larger pool of draftees. Approximately 50% of men drafted were rejected, either because they were illiterate or because of considerable health reasons. The last draft the U.S. partook in was on June 30th, 1973, almost 50 years ago, which means it's time for a change. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Resources, the human brain isn't actually fully developed until a person's mid to late 20s, which primarily affects a person's problem-solving skills and their decision-making skills, both needed when voting for leaders of their country. This is knowledge that was used when raising the legal drinking age from 18 to 21 in 1984. If 18-year-olds weren't considered responsible enough to drink at age 18, why should they be allowed to vote for the leaders of our country? States that increased the legal drinking age to 21 saw a 16% median decline in motor vehicle crashes, a percentage taken from the Center for Disease Control used to explain the problems caused by underage drinking, which stems from an irresponsibility and can lead to driving while intoxicated and binge drinking, which often leads to alcohol abuse later on in life. So far, the number 21 is the ideal age for most restrictions in the U.S., apart from voting and drafting age, which were lowered to 18 because of circumstances that haven't even occurred in the past 50 years. We haven't had a draft for 50 years, so we no longer need to have a larger pool of draftees. Voters who have just turned 18 may feel pressure to vote for the first time and may not research to the extent that older individuals might. As well as the decision-making part of the brain not being fully developed, add that to the lack of research put into the voting process and the candidates running for candidacy. Raising the voting age and the drafting age is beneficial. While there has been an increase in young voter turnout in the past few years, who's to say that all of these young voters were intellectually aware of the importance of their votes? Many 18-year-olds still live with their family unit. Who's to say that they aren't being pressured to vote a certain way from people that they are close to, which was most prevalent in the 2016 election? Along with raising the voting and drafting age to 21, there ought to be harsher restrictions on the consumption of nicotine. In 2019, the USA raised the legal age to purchase and consume nicotine to 21 years old. This, combined with the additional taxes on nicotine products, have helped reduce the amount of smokers. However, vaping is becoming quite popular among young people, and although many vape products are nicotine-free, they can still cause damage to your lungs and other parts of your body. For example, according to a new study by researchers in the Permian School of Medicine at the University of Pennsylvania, even vaping nicotine-free vapor can harm the body, specifically the blood vessels, which reduced blood flow and impaired endothelial function in the large femoral artery that supplies blood to the thigh and leg. The endothelium, which lines the inside surface of blood vessels, is essential to proper blood circulation. Once the endothelium is damaged, arteries thicken and blood flow to the heart and the brain can be cut off, resulting in heart attacks and strokes. Although you must be 21 to purchase any type of vape, parents are less likely to suspect a child of vaping rather than smoking nicotine cigarettes, and parents that vape themselves are less likely to discipline their children for vaping. Children are considered adults when they turn 18, but they are adults who aren't allowed to purchase alcohol or nicotine products because we as a country deemed them too irresponsible to use these products and considered them too harmful for them. Which is also a reason we should raise the voting age, because these 18-year-olds aren't considered responsible enough to purchase alcohol or nicotine products. It's also a reason that they're not responsible enough to vote for the leaders of our country. And it's also a reason that we haven't had a draft in 50 years, so we don't really need to have the draftees be 18, which was a large reason the voting age was lowered in the first place. These are all reasons as to why we should raise the voting age, raise the drafting age, and have harsher restrictions on nicotine, because some parents won't have those same restrictions for their children.